It is such a great starting point. First, just to understand from a scientific perspective, medical perspective, understanding stress and what that does to your brain. And I think it's important for us all to have that awareness. What are your thoughts on that?
So, I think when we talk about stress and the science of the brain, I think those that are listening that are especially military and first responders, you've heard the fight, flight, freeze mentality. We probably have run that into the ground. And so I think I'm going to take it a little bit of a different angle and perhaps something that you haven't heard before. Obviously, for the fight and flight response in the brain, it is a lot about an adrenaline dumping, and it really forces you in a place of trauma and in a place of fear, really, forcing your body and your brain to make some really quick decisions on what you need to do to survive that situation. And what we have right now, though, with the coronavirus is something a little bit different than we're used to. And so it's not like an immediate threat. It's like this ongoing, gradual, just slow creeping threat
Mhm.
that I think unnerves everybody. So I think a lot of people don't really know what their reactions are and what's going on in their mind and their body. All they know is that they're carrying a lot of anxiety and stress. And so from a different perspective, I'd like to kind of present more of the Maslow's hierarchy of need. And maybe you guys have heard of that before, but very simply, Maslow created a theory of development, really. He really was looking at how do we become the best possible person that we could become? What are we all striving towards? And whether it's in your family or in your marriage or in your career, we typically all say we strive for a place of peace and accomplishment, and we know who we are and what our purpose is. And we're all, every day striving for that. But Maslow figured out that there are some very specific needs that have to happen in order for us to get to that place. It's not something we can just jump to one day and decide we've arrived. And so he starts with this basic level of needs. So basic needs like food, shelter, sleep, sex, all those things that you need to really survive. And then it's almost like a ladder that you have to climb up. And I'm not going to go through all of those today, but I want to point out the first two rungs of the ladder, because above that basic need is emotional security. It's safety, it's physical safety too, but it's also emotional security. And so we often think when we hear security or safety, we think, like a lot of the first responders out there, we think, what do we need to do to keep us physically safe? But Maslow also talks about the importance of structure and routine and having a sense of knowing what to expect every day. And so I just want to encourage all of you out there that what this virus has done and what the quarantine has done is it has stripped us away from our routine, whether it was, soccer practices or going to church, once or twice a week, or whether it was, this is when I go to the grocery store, or whatever your routine was daily or weekly. It's really kind of robbed us of that. And everybody is kind of in this place of ongoing stress of not knowing really how to handle when you can't do the things that you normally did every day that made you feel secure and made you feel like you knew what to expect. And that unnerves everyone. And so it's really hard to climb the ladder to achieve anything beyond that, whether it's your career goals or your educational goals, or maybe what you were trying to work on in your marriage to get it to a really much better place. Like, it's really hard to work on all those things. And so all of you out there who are finding yourselves raiding the pantry and sitting on the couch and watching the Tiger King, that's kind of what's going
Number one
on.
show, number one show.
Number one. And I have given in to it.
Yeah.
I'm almost ashamed to say it, but that's kind of what's going on, is that when you don't have that routine that you're used to, you find yourself falling into that basic need. So I just really want to encourage everybody that that's okay. And that's understandable. And that's what we have to go through, that we really can't go to that next level until we have accomplished those needs. And so I know we're going to get into that maybe a little bit more here in just a minute, but I just want to make sure everybody understands that's kind of what's going on, and everybody is going through this together. We might react in different ways, but we really are going through the same thing, where we've been kind of forced to the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of need, where we're just focusing on those basic needs right now.